What is up, ladies and gentlemen? It is your friendly neighborhood BJJ podcast, RAF ESPARZA, coming to you with another great installment of the Bullpen, a joint venture between Inside BJJ and the Grappling Hour. How you doing today? Doing pretty good. It's a busy time here at the show. We've been doing plenty of episodes. Last week was all about the Netflix Is a Joke Comedy Festival, and this week was about going to check out the Dodgers. And I don't know, it was a good game. Lots of fun was had. And I thought, what better way to introduce a person wearing a hat that I don't recognize in this household, but that, here's what I want to say. When I throw to Tim, how do you feel wearing orange? Because orange is one of my least favorite colors, and it is the signature color of your team, sir.
Or listen, as an openly courageous, out colorblind man, I am proud to wear the color orange, even though it looks red to me. It don't matter. I bleed black and orange, baby. Great to see you, Raf. Listen, it was a nice series. I managed to perhaps pirate stream all 4 of the games. The first 2 I liked. The last 2 weren't as good. It was nice to see Ohtani go into a slump, even though he kind of got out of it with a home run there, and he pitches really well. I still can't get over how good he pitches, man. I'm expecting him to be a bum every time he gets on the mound, and he just continues to impress on that front. But yeah, the Dodgers are a good team, as much as it bothers me to say. But I can't love the Dodgers. I'm sorry. I
don't have to. This is I have enough love of the Dodgers to take care of everybody on this stream. The issue I have here, though, Tim, is when I was looking at the colors, so my mother-in-law is here, and she's putting on a black t-shirt, and she goes, "Oh, no, can I wear this?" And I go, yeah, you'll be fine. And she's like, "But I'm wearing jeans, and they're blue." And I go, "Sue, no one is going to get into a fight with you. Fights are reserved for the pavilion, the heart of Dodger Stadium." And I felt like nobody's going to pick on some elderly lady there. We're going to be okay. But there was a fight in the pavilion, and we weren't able to see it. And it was very disappointing. And then I found out that we didn't even get access to the best fight. The best fight was in the second tier seats. And it was 2 cholas going after each other. And at first I saw one chola wearing a black jersey, but it was a Dodgers black, one of those off-color ones that they make. And I go, "Oh no, it's same team, same teams, cholas, we're united, same team." No. So I had a moment there. But can I tell you, we were right near the dugout, and Kelly at one point goes, "Oh my God, it's Ohtani. He's right there." And I go, "Yeah." She goes, "It's kind of like seeing Michael Jackson." And I was like, "No, there are levels to this." "Oh my God, we love you, Ohtani." And she's just like, "Really?" And I go, "Well, I didn't pass out. If it was Michael Jackson and he had done the lean and smooth criminal, dead."
What if he would have had the silver specked batting glove? Just one. That would have been a dope move, right?
I have to tell you, Tim, this is a very touchy subject right now to Michael Jackson fans, and I don't even think you understand why. Drake released 3 albums today. Now,
three albums. Wow. He took a break from Degrassi High, apparently. Wow.
So he is saying if he gets one more #1 hit, he will eclipse Michael Jackson's number of #1 hits. Now, not only is it different eras, Michael didn't need 4 different features to go #1, and that's not including his work with the Jackson 5, which actually puts him closer to 17. So Drake decided that in order to also replicate a Michael Jackson record of having 3 records in like the top 5 or top 10, he would put together 48 songs and release them as slop.
Wow.
So here's the reason why Michael Jackson fans are pressed. He allegedly bought one of the sequence Michael Jackson gloves. And one of the album covers is of him doing this and in the glove, as if to signify, Michael fans, I will beat him. And Michael fans, I consider myself one, are in their feels. I really don't care because I don't find what he does to be good most of the time. So it's kind of like, all right, it's just kids who want to make him number one. And it's a very different criterion now. So enjoy your new record, but you are not at Michael Jackson Lane.
Yeah, I agree. I am a Michael Jackson fan as well. I still have my Michael Jackson figure doll from when I was a kid. I'm going to bust him out. He's got the red sequence, kind of like Omar Gaddafi's general jacket. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
With the black tuxedo pants with the silk stripe. The problem is I no longer have the glove and the little toy microphone that came with it. But the doll's intact. I'll bring them out next week. Little show and tell. I'll put them up on the screen here.
Please do, because I very much appreciate good Michael Jackson lore. And I am a little bit of a historian. Having seen the movie, somebody sent me a TikTok that'll be timely here in a second. But they sent me a TikTok video of a dude who was in the theater after watching the movie and goes, he had a whole notes list of all the inaccuracies in the movie. And I go, oh, me too.
Oh, wow. That's like, do you enjoy the movie less, though? You know what I mean? That's how I feel if I, have some devil's lettuce and watch a movie. Like, I can't enjoy it. I start pointing out, like, people don't act that way and nobody closes the door like that.
Allow me to tell you how I reviewed the movie. My sister texted me and she said, hey, was the Michael Jackson movie good? And I said, no, but it's amazing. And she's like, what does that even mean? I go, it's not a good film, but like, it's amazing. You want to go to experience the music in IMAX. Sure. I will pay all of the money to go in all of the different experiences. 4D, IMAX, Panasonic, Christopher Nolan's View Scope. I will see every version of this Michael movie. So I feel like it's been a big phenomenon, though. So I guess I'll open up with the question the internet has been begging answers for, though, Tim. Is there anybody who is remotely at Michael Jackson level of fame? Open-ended question to you.
Wow. Anybody, we're talking not just musician, we're talking just any.
Sure.
So kind of freaking A, man. Well, I mean, maybe Donald Trump, maybe, but I don't think he might have the longevity in the future, but maybe Michael Jordan. Maybe that's the closest that I could think of internationally. Maybe Ronaldo. I could see a case being made for him. Maybe Beckham, but I don't think Beckham's like that big of a. He's obviously a huge star, but I don't know if he's Michael Jackson. This guy walked around with a damn monkey, and nobody batted an eye about it. Like, talk about the guy with the parakeet on his shoulder who's a weirdo. This guy had a monkey with him where he went around, and everyone acted like that was normal. Yeah, he's in a class of his own. 100%.
This is the issue that I think when people start saying this, they're like, well, Taylor Swift, Beyonce, Bruno Mars. No. And then there's even been some discussion of, has Chris Brown reached Michael Jackson status? And I'm like, no, dude, because somebody put it very eloquently on the internet, which is Chris Brown dances like you press the pause button on Crash Bandicoot. And I have never been able to get that out of my head because I think, oh, those are good gymnastics. He's very athletic. Is it dance? Eye of the beholder.
Yeah. I feel like, and I don't know anything about dancing, man, but when you watch Michael Jackson, I'm sure he rehearsed and practiced, but it's like those moves were emanating from him. He couldn't stand still. He had to throw a kick and do the hip thrust and backslide, moonwalk, and spin. There was no he wasn't learning that shit. That was just he was probably a hyperactive kid. I'll bet you he was hyper as hell, dude. But good on him. Learning, he channeled it into dancing.
Well, we mentioned TikTok, Tim, and wouldn't you know it? Let's get to the board. It's a good segue because TikTok was pretty pretty on our radar this week. I don't know if you know this, but we put up a 15-second clip from the show last week where yours truly, your favorite here, RAF ESPARZA, made an offhand comment on how Dana White didn't have the best appearance at the Breakfast Club. Tim, while we were getting ready, you took a quick glance at what it was. So without knowing this has been happening for the past 4 or 5 days, what was your initial response when you saw everybody in their feels in the comment section about this 15-second out of context clip?
I mean, look, I'm not on the TikTok all the time. So, you know, when you sent me a text and said, look, the kids are riled up about something, I was like, oh, Jesus, I wonder what it was. And then when I actually went to check it out, I'm like, okay, that was like, okay. And then the comments are amazing. I erupted in laughter more than once. And it wasn't like courtesy chuckle. It was eruption belly laughing at the stupidity and also just complete lack of awareness and context in general, and the transposition of like one type of internet beef domain to the next. The way it happens in the internet world, there's got to be a German word for it, because it's not normal, man, but it's a lot of fun to look at.
So here is kind of where we're at right now. A few of these comments seem to try to figure out who the fuck we are, Tim. You know, they were trying to figure us out. So I'm going to have a response here in a second. But do you have anything that you want to say to these people? Because they're taking shots at you. You're not even on the camera. They're just like, you guys don't know anything. I go, well, it's really just me. So do you have any just kind of opening line now that maybe we have their attention or they're starting to learn about us that you would like to say before I get into what
I'll
people
try to
on
use
the show might know is coming?
Yeah, I mean, kids speak. I got the receipts on you. I got receipts. Listen, I love the knee-jerk reaction of he didn't watch the video. He didn't watch it. I like the he won that interview. He lost that interview. The complete lack of comprehension in brain cell in your brain is what actually makes us laugh. And there's a few commenters. If you go through this, there's a lot of comments, by the way. There's several where just like regular, rational people who know the alphabet go like, oh, hey, guys, I think you're missing the point. And then the chorus of like, you read the comment, just jumps right back in. So listen, I guarantee you that I'm smarter than you. And so by default, that means RAF is smarter than you too. So I don't know what to tell you guys. Good luck, but it's highly entertaining for me. So let's keep it up. Let's keep it coming.
Well, Tim, thank you for that. And allow me to have a few minutes here on the show. I hate to take all the time, but
do it, please.
I feel like this necessitates a response, because people just said, they're like, is that all you're going to say? And I said, I don't know. It depends. And wouldn't you know it, 350K later, yeah, maybe I'll think about it. But if you would be so kind, allow me to have the floor here, sir. I'll see you in a couple seconds. Okay. To our new friends, hello. You found me because you're either a bot or a bootlicking right-winger who has no friends. And yes, full disclosure, I am just as surprised as you that 15-second clip caught fire. We did not produce a full segment on the Dana White appearance on the Breakfast Club. I make a quick little offhand remark. We threw it up, and you guys had feelings about it. Some of you typed such weird shit into our comment section on TikTok, but one of you really went the extra mile into our DMs. So much so that we kind of had to put it on the broadcast and maybe show you just a little bit of what we experienced. Actual post. Your post sucks so bad, and you did it. You baited me so fucking bad. Show me at what point did Charlemagne make Dana White look bad. Post a video we would all like to see. don't just say a bunch of shit with no context. STFU and do better. Which I have to admit kind of reeks of, please, bro, just post clips in your interview, bro. I promise I'll have something important to say back, bro. Please, just STFU and tell me why your post was so dumb, bro. Well, despite your shut your mouth when you're talking to me demeanor, dumb TikTok guy, okay, you asked so kindly. Here is a full segment on the Dana White appearance on The Breakfast Club. Will I post clips? No, because the most logical reasons you found me are as follows. One, you were looking for the real interview and you saw me, a guy who doesn't look like Dana White or Charlemagne the God, and said, yeah, let's see what this idiot has to say. Or two, you did watch it and you don't get regular visitation rights with your kids, and no, you definitely need therapy. Or three, you're a bot and Elon Musk promised you you'd become a real boy if you harass 1 million strangers online. Here's what I've deduced from that Breakfast Club appearance. There are a great deal of you who wonder if this line of questioning from Charlemagne is appropriate, given the fact that Dana White is not a politician. But the UFC has extensively pushed Trump's appearances in a way that might even make North Korea blush. Precisely at the times he's needed the most. Epstein. And look, Dana has also spoken at major political events and rallies for him, and even if Trump is just being a friend, he's just as culpable for helping the Trump brand during times of crisis. So no, these questions aren't out of line. Dana's answers to some Americans disliking Trump's policy is, he's my friend, and what are you gonna do? For some, that's a good enough defense. But when we get to teaching Dana what the hell glazing, pause, means, I have to be honest, I'm not even mad that Dana doesn't know what that means. He's old. It's just a different way of asking, why are you excessively praising or overhyping Trump? Which is an acceptable fucking question for an organization that puts sports washing video packages before his interests and even produced a documentary about the president. And it sure as fuck is an acceptable question to ask a grown adult about another grown adult who is getting a UFC event for his fucking birthday party. This is the complete opposite of a Make-A-Wish program, where you basically throw an event for somebody who doesn't need it or deserve it, instead of the terminal kid who's probably, let's be honest, not going to make it to the next Taylor Swift concert. I call it the Take-A-Wish program. Hey kid, sucks you won't get to meet Shohei Ohtani. Trump gave the money that would have cured your cancer to Israel, but he's going to get to see Alex Pereira fight on the White House lawn. Chama. That last part was Dana White brushing the hair that the kid wouldn't have because, make a wish. Anyway, Charlemagne then asks Dana White if he's a part of MAGA, and Dana says he's right down the center or leaning a little bit more liberal. And some of you bought that shit because you're gullible as fuck. Quick, name any two left-leaning policies of Dana White. For sure. Hey, I'll even help you out here. Dana White could have mentioned that he's worked with Harry Reid in the past or that he has donated to Democrats, and that's a much better answer because it's actually true. The problem is Dana doesn't get pushed. So even when he gives slop answers, you just drink it up and say, sounds good, boss. Which even if you take Dana White at his word, would make him judge you. Because, ask anybody, I'm the furthest thing from a yes man, is what he said on the show. Also, when asked if UFC helped Trump reach younger viewers, Dana said some kind of very funny joke where he said, I guess it is my fault. Which you could laugh at if it wasn't so true. Because that's essentially the core of the questions. Dana wants the influence without the hint of responsibility when things aren't great. Then there's the whole domestic abuse issue that got brought up, which doesn't get discarded here as it would it as a UFC presser because those journalists need to play ball in order to keep their access. Dana White was asked if he had sidestepped responsibility given his power. He said no, mentioning that the board thought it would be worse without him, which is strange because I thought he doesn't handle contracts anymore, kind of making him a glorified mascot. Nonetheless, the host mentioned the double standard, and Dana does not have a great answer. To illustrate this, we're going to put this answer to the test, and I'm going to use, Tim, do you mind helping me out here? We need to actually combine forces. So I'm going to have you at one prominent part of this diatribe read your one line. Do you have it ready for you, sir?
Yeah, I'm going to do it in character. Is that okay?
Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and start. This was Dana White's answer to what responsibility does he have? Okay. I'm probably the most lenient, the most lenient guy in sports when it comes to dealing with whether it's free speech or bad things that happen. Hey, I'm in the fight business. It's not like I run Microsoft. You know what I mean?
So what standard did you hold yourself to in that moment?
Yeah, listen, obviously that's not what it was. Yeah, I mean, it's as bad as it could get. I mean, I hold myself to, I would never in a million years think that was ever going to happen. And I say this all the time. Nobody knows you better than your kids do. And your kids, whoever you really are, your kids are going to see it. They hear it. Everything that goes on at home. There's a handful of you in the comment section who said that Dana White won that interview, as if to apply debate criteria to every interview we see. But even if you thought he came off fine, you thought that sounded good? That was read verbatim. And if anything, there were a bunch of his talking points that all got jumbled and he didn't know what to say. And a great deal of you attacked Charlemagne's character and then intent and then copy pasted that shit to me. Look at this beta liberal. You're dumb. They should make podcast equipment more expensive, which I'll make you a deal.
That's actually not bad. Okay,
I'll agree to that if we can also get a basic reading comprehension test to post comments on TikTok, because doesn't look good for a lot of y'all. It sounds like basic Trump shit. Attack, avoid, reframe. But in the interest of meeting you halfway, here's what I thought some of you might have actually liked from that interview. 1, Dana White showed up to the interview. 2, he didn't walk out. 3, Dana White is a loyal person to his friend, the way that his friend is loyal to Jeffrey Epstein. And while refusing to admit he had Dana White privilege when it came to accountability within the UFC, you did seem to like that he did take some personal accountability for getting caught slapping his wife. But I really would like to emphasize this. Can we get over assigning if people win an interview or not? Dana did not win that. And sure as hell had some answers that sounded kind of, well, for lack of a better word, dumb. Finally, as I thumbed through these comments, I noticed 2 major things. 1, it's no wonder the term glazing went over your heads, as some of y'all never come up for air where your mouth is. And 2, the greatest crime of all in this whole scenario, 500 comments and not a single great punchline. Like, for the love of God, say whatever the hell you want about me and Tim, but give us something to laugh at here. Anyway, thank you so much for the 350,000 views and counting. See you next time, bots.
Bots. The ramble about the kid at the end is where you're like, your brain's going, I'm losing track of what I'm saying. Like, what am I actually saying right now? How am I?
You know what it is?
I'll talk about kids.
It's a pilot looking for somewhere to land, and all he sees is ocean. So it's a lot of him looking out and being like, and another thing, because I love when Dana gets jumbled. You will hear him use the following transition. And I'm always the first to say, I always say. And it's his way of trying to let you know he's an even keel guy. Like, hey, man, he's just a regular dude. And that's what it felt like a lot of these people were defending. We're not even getting into the shit where we're talking about unions and Dana White saying, like, they can do whatever they want. No, they can't. Literally, they cannot. And when you kill the Ali Act, it just requires a little bit more critical thinking than some of these people take at base value. So it's wild that they would say, like, you can't call it dumb, but they themselves are dumb for not looking a little deeper into each of these things he's saying. If they're willing to take each of these things at base value, then they also have a big question mark as to why fighters have to take second and third jobs or be their postmates in order to make a living. There are things that are wrong, and yes, he has made a lot of money. But when you have people in the comment section saying, we need to listen to him because he's a billionaire, and I go, you can't think of one billionaire that said some dumb shit?
I mean, dude, the problem is that once you become like that wealthy, no matter how hard you try to be an even keel cool guy, you're just now the super rich guy trying to be even keeled. Nobody fucking buys it. Like you're sleeping in silk pajamas, dog. Like, get out of here, man. I don't hate on any of these guys either.
So hold on. Don't use TikTok. Is it elsewhere? No, unfortunately, Egg, this was strictly in the TikTok comment section. And we were, I wouldn't say pleasantly surprised, but we were definitely taken aback when we go, oh, is it going off? And people were complaining. They're like, really good, show a clip. I go, we didn't do a full segment. Full discretion and transparency. We just didn't do that. And then I saw that people were so mad. So it begs another question. People want to be rage baited. Yes. Because I don't think these people showed up to agree with me. I think they might have put something into their search engine, if they're a real person, to just let out some steam and protect Daddy Dana. So with that being said, yeah, Egg, it just is what it is. But Egg, would you turn down 350,000 views?
No way. And think about this, Raf. You know, TikTok knows all the stuff they're looking at. And so they're, you know, what do they wake up at probably like 1 p.m. and they're like, just, you know, they're swiping through their thing. And then they're like literally like kind of sad. They're like, what am I going to do today? What's my reason to actually get out of bed? And then they see you and they're like, they're fired up now. They're like, hold on, I'm going to get a Mountain Dew and like, I'm going to go sit on the couch and get a response. They get up. They like, you know, they don't change out of their pajamas. They still got the flannels on. Don't get me wrong. And the sock with one hole in it. But you gave these guys something to live for. And I hope you do this. Maybe you're already going to do this, and I'm sorry if I'm giving it away, but I think the reenactment is the video. When they say post the video, you go, here's proof. And you just post the damn reenactment. And then let's see if we can get that to like 2 million.
I guess the dumb part here is they're going to take some issue with the ellipsis and the performance. But I got to tell you, if you put mine side by side with his, I don't think it's going to be far off. If anything, I think I was generous with a couple of those inflections and vocal affections I was doing there. I just know this. I feel like it is commendable that Dana White would go outside his comfort zone. Obviously, he's getting more attention for these fights, and he's trying to get people excited about it. I don't know what the ratings are. I know they're trying to build to the Donald Trump birthday party fight. And that's cool. That's good. That should be good business. But when people were like, yeah, you could tell that like Charlemagne was trying to bait, you know, Dana, and he didn't take the bait. And it's like, well, you think it's bait.
Why does everything have to be bait and everything has to be like a setup and a thing and a this and a that? Like people just don't talk. They don't have actual interviews where you're like, I'm going to ask him a hard question and see what his answer is.
Well, what they do is they put intentionality. They say, well, why is Charlemagne doing this? You know, he had Joe Biden on there. And I'm like, dude, you know what's going to happen is Joe Biden's going to die. and then they're still going to be like, it's his fault he died. And you go, okay, yes, probably. I don't know, guys. This feels like something we should have some sort of decency for. But I really think it has brought out an uglier side of politics that invests its way into, I'm not looking to watch UFC and see Donald Trump make his way on out. It's just let him take a seat. We got to do a pomp and circumstance, and then every one of those announcers has to suck the dick and the greeting line. You know, the Queen has a greeting line. We have and how are you doing, sir? Home. So that is essentially what we do here with the commentators at the UFC. Anyway, Tim, I feel like we can move on about this. This is inaccurate, though. I always win my interviews against RAF. If there's anybody I can guarantee you has not won an argument in an interview, it is this man. This is also very sweet because getting this comment, where were you on TikTok, sir?
A sexy bear. Yeah.
It says, what are your guys' thoughts on the UFC White House card? John, hold your britches. We'll get to that in a little bit. We're going to move to our next one, which is an update on the Melqi Galvo situation. So just when you thought things couldn't get sadder, don't worry, they will. Apparently, since the last time we have spoken with you, Melqi Galvo, while behind bars, apparently got a cell phone and was threatening some victims. Now, I can't verify every single one of these things, so we are taking a great leap of faith in terms of what is being reported. But if that is true, it is pretty problematic. And one thing to consider in this additional little information that we've got is that it is kind of convenient that Melqi's brother is also a police officer who was relieved of duty. So I'm going to go to you, Tim, if you have any other additional nuggets or any interpretations from the very limited information that we have been given about the situation since the last time we even talked about it.
I don't have anything new. I did think at first when I kind of saw the tagline, I was like, did he have the audacity to call someone collect and then threaten them over the phone? Like, that's a bold move from jail. You know, you have a collect call from, Grandmaster Melqi. Will you accept this? And you got to say oaths, otherwise they don't accept it. And then he just goes heavy with the threats next. It's one, if this is indeed true, this appears to be one bad decision on top of a bad decision on top of a bad decision. And so, it's very unfortunate. And there's been some speculation like that Mika was on the phone call. All that I read, I didn't listen to it. I don't speak Portuguese. I have no clue. But I did read that Mika was in the background saying something like some flight was canceled and that was it. So I don't know if that directly implicates him in any kind of way. Like in my brain, I think you have to kind of give people their innocence, and it's a pretty hard thing when a family member is connected to something pretty raw like this. But on top of it, if Melqi is doing this guy really needs how to use a damn phone. Because apparently people are recording all of his phone calls because isn't that what got him in this mess in the first place? And now there's another conversation that's been recorded. Like, does this guy not know who Edward Snowden is? Like, somebody needs to clue him in this phone business. He's never watched The Wire. I can tell you that. Like, he's not that smart of a criminal for being a cop, dude. So I don't know, man. I hate reading it and I hate that we have to talk about it, but this is just one of those things that you can't avoid, RAF, but to call somebody from prison and make a threatening phone call is like, I just don't see obviously he's not that threatening. Like, nobody's given to his threats. They all told on him. So I don't get it.
I really wish there was a better breed of criminal. Because you would have felt if you got caught the first time with somebody handing over the evidence of you calling to bribe them.
Right.
Just wouldn't be a good look to do it again. Not to say that it couldn't have been effective. Because again, there's a lot of shit that happens that we never know about until some good person turns them in. But in this particular case, you think, Threaten someone, shame on you, first time. Threaten someone twice, still shame on you, I think. I think that's the way that works. But I will tell you, it was very confusing for all of us here to get these texts and these updates, because we are trying to afford some grace and some understanding to Mika. You want to give him the benefit of the doubt. You want to say he didn't know anything, or that's just his dad. What do you do if that's your dad and that's a family member? But if he was on the phone, this is really not a good look. And I really don't know if it is true that I want to see him on any additional cards. I don't know that I want to see him at ADCC, because those become the next questions. Because here at Jiu-Jitsu, that's the only thing that matters. People don't care about the crimes. They care about, will they be at ADCC, which is an incredibly wild thing. For us, I just like to say, I don't think it's the end of the world that they don't make it. Because right now, we're not even seeing the best in the world versus the best in the world at ADCC for reasons that are outside of these very important matters. We're talking people don't want to do trials. They don't want to be paid a certain amount. They don't think it's worth it. All of those are considerations that are understandable. But if it comes down to somebody being accused of something, and it's pretty strong evidence that shows them being there, it's not going to really hinder their life if they didn't get a crack at ADCC. And I feel like we need to really start thinking more like that, as opposed to robbing them of not having some sort of COVID card that they didn't show they got a shot. I don't think this is the same thing. We're not taking away anybody's freedoms or liberties here. It's just, hey, bud, you do something questionable, maybe we don't have to extend an invite. And maybe if you truly are innocent, you need to spend time working that out rather than saying, guys, I know it's got a lot of heat on me right now, but 77 looks wide open. I think I got a shot this year. Some shit like that doesn't matter much. Just saying. All right, let's move on. You would probably be living under a rock if you didn't at least hear about Ronda Rousey and Gina Carano. That fight is happening on Netflix, so if you have a subscription, free for you guys. Tomorrow, Saturday, and for those of us here in Los Angeles, it is happening at the Intuit Dome. They have had press conferences. They had weigh-ins earlier today, and it looks like it is all getting ready to happen live tomorrow, beginning at about 3 p.m. for prelims out this way on Best Coast time. Tim, what can you tell us about the MVP very first inaugural MMA card?
Well, yeah, big headliner event. I wish it would have happened 10, 12 years ago. I think it would have been a real banger of a fight. Not sure how Rousey Carano is going to play out today. I really don't know if either of their pasts, if you could really pull it into the present and use it to evaluate how they're going to do right now. I'm not sure how much either of them is trained, who they're training with, kind of where their life is at this moment. Obviously, they both have had major life changes since then. So it is intriguing in that aspect. And these are two big names that people still want to see. Interesting to me that Rousey's like a 625 minus on this going into it. They got Carano at plus 455. So if you think Carano has an inkling of a chance, that's like not a bad bet. And then, there's a couple other matchups on the card that I'll be honest, some of these dudes, I don't know who they are, man. They're guys that I've seen before. You look up their records and I'm like, oh, they were in UFC. And so I'm like, I'm sure I watched them at some point. They just never stood out to me. But, obviously the Stockton boy, 209 Nate Diaz is taking on Mike Perry. And I feel like this is the fight that they really thought they were going to put gas on and it was going to blow up and like there'd be all these sound bites. And as hard as they're trying to get these two guys to have beef with each other, they're just not doing it. So I'm actually expecting a good fight for this one. I think we're going to see both these guys actually get after it and kind of save all that energy for the actual fight itself. Perry's a favorite. He's at minus 205. Nate Diaz is at plus 170. And then the other matchup that I really want to see is the return of Francis Ngannou. The challenge I have is like, where are they finding these dudes for him to fight? Like, he's fighting Felipe Lins, who, has a okay MMA record. He's not like a terrible fighter or anything like that, but this is Francis Ngannou. He was the heavyweight champion. He's supposed to be the best in the world, and he's fighting. He's pulling a Musamichi right now, right? And it's almost a waste of his career, because I think at a certain point his name drops out of best heavyweight of all time. Like, you can't retain that and just keep fighting dudes nobody knows who they are. Having said all that, I'm still going to watch the fights tomorrow night. I got a little disruption. Got to pick my mother-in-law up from the airport, but I know she's coming with a load of tamales or enchiladas or chili rellenos or something. So when I get back to the house, I'm going to say, Eva, get the comal going. Let's go. And turn Netflix on and watch the fights, man. Let's go.
Love that. Well, you're a very lucky person, Tim, because in most Mexican families, the tamales are a commodity, and that sometimes you have to make an argument as to why you should be given tamales.
Right. Tamale court.
There used to be a meeting of a mafia family thing that would happen with my family with the tamales, where they'd be negotiating. They're like, I need 12. And they're like, it's 10. Your ration is 10. They'd be like, well, I need 12. And it's like, how much energy did you or your wife put into making those?
Right. And then which 12 do you want? You want the rojas? You want the chorizo? You want the, you want the pork? You want the papas? Like, I'll give you 12, but 2 of them are papas.
So hold on. I see this. Articulate BJJ says, Raf has threatened me 1,000,000 times, so shame on him. None that you can prove, though. And also, I like the fact that this is from a person who's like, you can't beat me up anymore. And I'm like, you live in Australia. You can't even train with you if you wanted to. You ran away from training the last time. So Articulate BJJ, still an L on your fucking record, bud. So let me say this. Let's go to this. Respect to anyone who fights Ngannou. Yes, and to his credit, Philippe Lins did win a PFL tournament, so he does have some stock value. I don't know that it's Ngannou level, but hey, listen, we're trying something new here, and we do want a knockout. And this has never been a fan of how he hits people after he knocks them out, but it's not against the rules, so I can't complain. And then says, Rebellious Espage is on the card as well. He's fun to watch. He's a heavyweight and a former Olympian Taekwondo striker. Thank you for that, John. I also want to give some shout outs to some friends of the show, because we actually have 2 individuals that I have interviewed, one of whom is, like a little brother to us here on the show. And that is one, Albert Morales. Albert Morales holding it down, wearing an LA Dodger hat during the press conference yesterday. Sweetheart of a human being. He's even done matches for charity for my good friends over at Love Movement. That was the last time he was there, and he was having a charity grappling match against the head of our gym, Milton Arguello, and it was all smiles and a very, very fun match for charity. So that's what Albert does in his free time when he's not fighting and killing it. And he has been in the UFC and getting a big, big call out against David Magoyan, so we'll see how that goes tomorrow, but we're rooting for Team Belizean Warrior, aka Albert the Warrior Morales. And then, wouldn't you know it, Jake Babian is a friend of the show, but this isn't even about him. It's his opponent, Namo Fazel. Namo has been spicy. And he, I think, got the assignment, which is to say things to capture your attention. They are the headliners for the preliminary card on YouTube. So he's been told to amp it up, I'm sure. Almost trying to start a fight in an elevator exchange with him and Jake Babian. Pushing the buttons. Saying that Jake Babian blocked him and that it's almost something an ex-girlfriend would do.
Oh.
Which sounds like a good claim, right? Like it sounds like something good to hit with. Until you realized the next thing he said at the press conference yesterday was that he's going to finish him in the fight, and then he's going to finish him on the ground or something to that extent. But there was definitely a pause that happened for everybody there. And they put it up, and they're like, what did he say? And they put up one of those things.
One finish in a fight. There's only one finish.
Well, not for him, apparently. Like that dude wants to finish him twice, which begs the question, what's the commission going to do if he does try to do that? And I won't use the full gestures, but imagine there were two hands being used suggestively. And it wasn't from Nemo. It was from one of the other fighters who I think was trying to say, like, I get it. Okay, we're there. Nonetheless.
Swedish finish or is it a regular finish?
We're not here to judge. We're just here to relay what happened in the press conference. And I'm sorry if I didn't get that particular wording down perfectly, but you get the idea. That's the basic gist of it. I'm happy he is doing the work to get people interested in the fight. It is a lot. But I think they liked it because I saw Ronda kind of smirking a couple times when he was trying to instigate. And I thought he was right next to her in the placement. So they are being featured very heavily as the top line of the preliminary YouTube card. And I think I have to give Nemo some credit, which is you're trying to solidify your place to get people to tune in. And Jake Babian's not taking the bait. Jake's just been like, what is this dude talking about? All right, we'll see you guys on Saturday. This is going to be fun. Let's go. So it's been a lot of that, Tim. Having said that, I'm very excited to see Nate Diaz get back on there because it means an impression of Nate Diaz is very likely next week in one way or another. So tune in for that. It says, I think MVP should have just went for it and had Ngannou fight Fedor on this card to match the same Gina versus Ronda energy. I think Fedor is pretty retired, though.
Oh, I thought you were going to say pretty something else. Yeah, I think he's pretty retired as well.
I think Fedor is happily on the outs. And granted, you could argue that Gina was very much in the outs. And Gina just admitted today she lost over 100 pounds. She looked great at the presser yesterday. So compliments to her.
Yeah. But Fedor has a lot more wear and tear on his body than Gina.
I also feel like it is a fan perspective sometimes to just say, like, what's Fedor up to? And Fedor's probably at his home being like, not interested. Thank you so much for thinking of me. I am happily eating ice cream now.
3 years old now, you know.
But they did seem to insinuate one thing, which was John Jones will be part of the commentary team. Like he'll be an analyst at the desk. And, you know, you wonder how much Ariel is instructed to continue some of the storylines here. And Ariel was like, Francis Ngannou, I know you don't want to look past your opponent, but what do you think John Jones is doing there? Do you think he's there for business or for pleasure? And Francis, I think, if I remember correctly, was just like, I think he is there for both. I think he wants to do both. And I think he's good. Yeah, I would like that. John Jones can do what he wants. You know, and we're like, oh, yeah, okay, I would watch that fight. And then there's a part of you that just thinks, like, why don't we just do it? Oh, yeah, he's under contract with the UFC.
Yeah.
But maybe he's not. Maybe the UFC has been closer to trying to release him. I don't know. I don't know the exact details because you figure he's got to be under lock and key. But if they don't let him fight, what is his exit clause? Nonetheless, him doing commentary, you can do that. You can be a gun for hire on that. So I wouldn't be surprised if you see a call out if Francis has a good night. But yeah, them's the updates in the world of MVP MMA we will be watching. And I feel like since you asked this a little bit earlier, John Dong, I will very quickly answer your question. What are your guys' thoughts on the UFC White House card? I think it's a mid card, not super excited about it. I think adding some unnecessary flair, like they're just like, why don't we bring Hokit onto it? And you go, what are we doing? No. Ilya Topuria, great, very good fighter. Alex Pereira, happy for him to have a prominent spot. I think it's the rest of the fights that I just kind of go, sure. Doesn't seem like the greatest card. But at the same point, you can't burn out every single one of your fights. Because I don't know if you guys have seen, I know tomorrow is the MVP MMA day. But if any of you at all taken a look at what is happening in the UFC tomorrow night, it is the most we gave up card there is. It's like a, you know what, Gina, Rhonda, we don't hate you. We're going to give you guys a setup. We're going to give you the worst possible card to go up against. And it says, if MVP can somehow do Nagano versus Jones, that would be sick. For sure. And it says, Bones and Francis face off in the ring after Francis's fight. Yes, that would require Francis to win. So a lot of emphasis on him. And it says, the White House Carm is overall lame. For sure. We don't really care. Yeah. Having said that, let's move on a little bit here because, listen, guys, I'm going to tell you something that's going to blow your minds. Tim and I are dudes with a microphone. But some days, dudes with a microphone just say some random shit that you look at and you go, are you sure about that? One gentleman with a podcast made the allegation that BJJ is washed when it comes to MMA. With that, I'm going to turn to our resident black belt, one Tim Freeman, for his response. Tim?
Wow. That's like, there's a certain reaction that all you need in MMA is good wrestling and defensive jiu-jitsu skills. But anytime you use a submission, a rear naked choke, even if you use wrestling to get it, you're still using jiu-jitsu. And anytime you use a sweep to come up from the bottom to top, you're still using jiu-jitsu. And if you get an arm bar or an e-bar, you do a submission escape, that's still jiu-jitsu. So I don't know what the context was, but it's kind of goofy. It's just as goofy, I will say this, is the folks that go like, all you need is jiu-jitsu as a base, which that's also equally goofy. I think MMA is at a point now where you got to kind of be dumb to not see that you need all three assets now. You need to be able to strike, you need to be able to wrestle, and you need to be able to do jiu-jitsu. Now, maybe they're not all 90%, 100%. Maybe you're like 50% of one, 80% of the other, 60% of the other. But whatever that is that you dial it in, it's got to be good enough. That calibration's got to be good enough that you could beat the dude standing in front of you. And jiu-jitsu is definitely a part of that. Can you win a fight without it? Yes, you can. And we see that happen. And some guys have really good stand-up, and you'll see them win a handful of fights before they get tested. But as you start to move up, you see you will get tested. You will get tested. The great wrestlers, their chins get tested. The great stand-up guys, their wrestling defense gets tested. Submission skills get tested. So, yeah, I really feel like wrestling, jiu-jitsu, striking is the fighting form of rock, paper, scissors. It doesn't work without all three, and anyone can beat the other one. It just depends on the context that they're thrown up in. But yeah, washed is such a lame word to use too. But what do you think of the graphic I used? I really enjoyed the pressure washer spraying the jiu-jitsu guy's face out. I got a real kick out of doing that one today, Raf. So thank you for giving me the time to do that. But washed is such a freaking Gen Z word, or whatever the Gen is, millennials, McComicals, I don't know, TikTokers, dude. Get over it.
That's the new Gracie Power Wash, right? Is that what that is?
Yeah, it's Gracie water that they're spraying. He's actually drinking from it after class.
No, but actually what we did is we collected some of Helio's bathwater. And then what we did is we got that into a gun. And now when we shoot it at you, you are not getting washed in the bad way. You're getting washed in the good way. And that is something that we have put on for you guys so that you may be better at jiu-jitsu. So we hope that you buy it. It is $2,000 per gun. You're welcome. All right, let me just take this real quick. Tim alluded to my main gripe on this. Just starting by saying it's washed is an interesting way to rage bait people. You can choose how much of the pie you want to do in fighting. Nobody raises you immediately to be a fighter and says, you better do wrestling or else you're going to die. They say, hey, you should do wrestling. It's a smart choice. It's a good base for MMA. Then when that happens, hey, you're so good at takedowns, you got to be careful you don't fall into a good jiu-jitsu practitioner who can take your back or break your arm or break your foot. Cody Steele, great example of that. Okay. What about your striking? Well, maybe you submit people well, but you got to run the risk of getting hit. In this day and age, I think you have too much information at your disposal to say one thing or another is washed when it's an option. And good MMA fighters, the elite levels, understand that and get a little bit of what they need to survive. I recently trained with a fighter who didn't have the best jiu-jitsu, but they had very functional jiu-jitsu to be defensively sound and get to their base of what they're good at. That's awesome. That's what you need. Would you recommend that person takes more jiu-jitsu? Probably. But that is their path. And if they're very good defensively at it, they want to get back to striking immediately. So I guess what happens is you see a post like this, and I wonder, were all of you TikTok commenters in that guy's chat? Because that's rage bait. Me saying Dana White gave dumb answers is me going, I don't know, I thought it was kind of dumb. And y'all ascribe feelings to that. I wonder if you guys were going to bat for jiu-jitsu or even speaking out against it. You know, the more I think about it, the people who I saw, the profiles we were making on those people, I think you were probably speaking out against jiu-jitsu as well. I think the idea is you run the risk of somebody being sharper at a tool than you are. And sometimes you don't know that until you go into a fight. And then the minute you get beat with that tool, you say, damn, I should have spent more time on that tool. And I think that's what most people for jiu-jitsu want you to avoid. So, teach their own. But, yeah, washed is a dumb word. And I love when people call fighters washed. Really what they mean is they lost 2 in a row. And they're like, are they washed now? Dude, people lose fights. Unless you're Hickson, allegedly. That's why you got to get the power wash.
Yeah. I want Hickson sweat in that thing. Give me Hickson's bathwater.
Could you imagine them saying like, hey, could you just jog in this sauna suit real quick? No reason. We just
like every time we take a shower, they put the drain stop in and you can't figure it out. You're like, why are you guys clogging the hell?
All right, let's go to talking about an even better result, which is that, yes, we talked about jiu-jitsu being so washed that one of our most prominent members in 1FC decided, you know what, I'll just get a knockout instead. Kudos to KADE Ruotolo. Tim, how was he able to do it?
Man, KADE Ruotolo just continues to prove that he has a gigantic upside. This kid just continues to impress. He goes to 4-0 in Bangkok, I believe, fight night for 1FC, and you know that's popping when they have the fights in Bangkok. Ruotolo took on Hiroyuki Tetsuka. He's 15-6, and he got him in the second round. He landed a spinning kick in the second round, and he started feinting with the same strike, and he caught a little pause, and he cracked Tetsuki and knocked him out, man. So big win. It's a huge now. Here's the thing I gotta ask you, Raf, and we've seen this, man. Anytime a grappler finds a little power in their hands, they stop grappling. You could just see it. They get fascinated with the knockout. So that I think, and you tell me what you think, is gonna be KADE's biggest challenge moving forward. His brother Ty is coming up through the ranks. He's 2-0-1. It's great to see these two really making a career out of it. And man, I am not surprised that KADE did this. He's a big, strong dude, and he's only getting better. So props to him, man. And I'm certain the fear of his jiu-jitsu is forcing guys to want to keep the game up on their feet. And if he starts cracking dudes on the feet, he's going to be a real tough customer.
So I think you are right in your assessment, because you were essentially asking me right now, do I think that the chase of a knockout speaks to the Rotolos the same way the Green Goblin mask speaks
yes,
to Willem Dafoe when he's playing Harry Osborn, or Norman Osborn, I'm sorry. Yeah, I think that's real intense. I think that they are gentlemen who want to prove that they're not just good at grappling. Like, to them, everything is a big challenge, a statement. We want to put it down for jiu-jitsu and show that jiu-jitsu people can have hands. We want to show that jiu-jitsu people can be entertaining, that they've got good wrestling. So, yeah, I could definitely see that. The reality is, I feel like as they get bigger and bigger challenges, however, they might have to lean a lot more on their jiu-jitsu. I feel like these first 7 fights when you're in your career, you're getting a base as to what you like to do. And that's great. But then once matchmakers go, okay, he's got about 7 fights, let's put him against this guy who's got powerhouse hands, it's a little riskier. You know, Rotolo has been matched up very nicely with these, and I think these are excellent tests for them. But I feel like there's going to come a day when you're going to see them be like, all right, fine, I got to do the jiu-jitsu thing if I got to. But,
yeah,
you know, nobody's calling their jiu-jitsu washed either. Like, it's not like they got up one morning and they're like, you know what? This jiu-jitsu thing sucks. It's a good thing I fight now. And I hit and punch people. I think they're very happy that they have that. And one thing further on this, when I get people who are aspiring MMA fighters who drop into our gym, I just kind of load them up very quickly. And I'm like, you can do whatever you want, guys. But there are these 2 twins called the Rotolo brothers. You may think you have better hands than them. Maybe you did. You definitely don't have better jiu-jitsu. And they're like, yeah, I know, but I think I could take them on the stand-up. And I go, see, that's where you might be wrong. They have been very quick studies, and they are fast, and they're exceptional athletes. So, no, I don't think your remedial level striking is going to knock out a Rotolo. And if you do, good luck if they have enough wherewithal to get a submission on you, because those boys are pretty durable. So, not to say it won't happen or it can't happen. It's just know your opponent. These guys are pretty durable and have been through a good amount of wars in jiu-jitsu. Like, not just when people go, oh, jiu-jitsu matches aren't fights. I don't know, man. Some of the ones I've seen with them, those are fights.
Yeah, they looked rough.
So maybe don't be a dick to those kids or anybody else. Or just say things like, I think I could take him in striking, because they will probably take it up with you and say like, oh, what's up, brother? Yeah, I have some hads in my car. Would you like to, we can put on these gloves right now. Let's go to a beach. It'll be great. And you go, oh, man, I got suckered in by the Rotolo twins. You know what it is? They even offered once when we did an interview. They're like, oh, we should do that. You should come train with us. And I go, I'm so sorry. Oh, what? And they go, yeah, come down to our green garage and we'll roll. We'll do that. And I go, no.
Yeah.
Go, why?
I wouldn't have rolled with them even when they were 12. I wouldn't have trained with them. They were good back then,
dude. They were always good. But the
dudes,
way that they invited me felt like a hit job. Like, it was like, no, this is when Joe Pesci knows he's about to get murdered. I should let them. Yeah. And they were like, dude, we'll take care of you. I was like, nah, there's 2 of you and there's only 1 of me, and both of you are way better at fighting or grappling than I am. So I think it's a bad choice. But anyway, I will train with them, I'm sure, at some point in the future. Hopefully when they have lots of injuries, so that way I have a chance. But nonetheless, Tim, we're now going to move on to our next topic, which is that of sumo. It looks like there's been a lot of sumo action. I've got a lot of my friends who have either gone, and I've got a couple of my buddies who have been participating. There is one cat out here, Maha, or Mahmoud, who is a sweetheart. He's going to be fighting on the upcoming next RFL card. I just saw he was a semifinalist and was in a semifinal beating up a dude that was twice his size and won. Like, this is a good kid. So, Maha, congratulations to you. But Tim, what do you have to update us on the world of sumo?
So there is a new sumo outfit, or at least they're trying to make a big push if it's an existing one. It is World Elite Sumo Pro Sumo New Era. What's impressive is they're doing it at the Prudential Center in New Jersey tomorrow night. UFC 328 was just there. It's going to be on Triller TV, 8 p.m. Eastern. If you're not watching all the other stuff, this is what Dana was really afraid of. This is why he put on the crap card. But look, they got a little bit of a twist on it. Okay, so here's the format. It's 12-man open weight. I'm assuming sumo's all open weight, but I'm not positive. Best of 3 matches per bout. So whoever wins 2 out of 3 first, they get to advance. Now, they took a page out of Metamorphosis Handbook. They're going to have live taiko drumming and an opera singer announcing them. They should have the Pride Lady. That's 100% who they should have. And the field is it's from 190 pounds up to 400 pounds. The big change is the competitors don't have to wear the traditional man diaper wrap. The competitors are allowed to wear like biker shorts underneath. And they don't have any of the traditional, like the way they do traditional sumo is quite different. Like, it's a whole crazy structure. It's super, super ritualistic and organized and very locked down. This is not that at all. They're just looking to blow the lid off of sumo. Sumo is a lot of fun to watch. And I really do think the diaper is kind of like, people talk about the singlet in wrestling, but like the diaper, even look, if you're really yoked in a good shape, you could at least you're like, dude, that guy's yoked in the singlet. If you got the diaper on, nobody looks good in the diaper. And it's almost like a form of fat shaming, to be honest, because the art itself requires you to get as heavy as you can. And then we go like, let's put the diety on them and throw them out there and let's watch the fat boys wrestle. Like, it's kind of insane. They couldn't put sponsors on it. They couldn't have like tassels. At least Muay Thai guys wrap the tassels around their arms and stuff. Nothing, no adornment, no decorations, no stripes, no patches, nothing to set you apart. Just off-white canvas diaper. Put that thing on, right? So I'm happy for this. If I get a chance to check it out, I indeed will. I love all forms of grappling, and I think sumo is a great one with a long history. So good luck to World Elite Sumo Pro Sumo New Era tomorrow night.
Tim, there's nothing funnier to me than you saying, the issue with sumo is not enough marketing opportunities. I have the upper part of the sarong that is available. The lower part, I don't know that you want that part. I think you want the upper part. And you're sitting there saying, where are the dude wipes?
Yes.
Where's the Budweiser?
Yeah.
Where's the TurboTax? That would be so wonderful to put in that area.
The progressive.
And for me, it was just me thinking, I'm so sorry if this is your tradition and your sport. We don't mean to be disrespectful, but we are saying, consider it, because huge missed marketing opportunities there. But nonetheless, Tim, let's press on. I'm very excited. I heard great things about it. I think I'll have to check one out in the near future. But Tim, what can you tell us about this week's low light highlight of the week?
Oh, we got a banger of a fight live from a baseball stadium. And, we preach this all the time. You never fight a dude who is standing one set of rows higher than you, man. If you're on the low ground, you're basically fighting Randy Johnson. And those bombs are coming raining down on you. There is a lady in this fight, and I hate to see the ladies in the fight. And the guys did pretty good until it got too much, and then it kind of pops off again. But it's a great fight. Old boy makes a stand. That's what I'm calling this fight. There's no audio. I have no idea what actually happened, but I'm calling this old boy makes a stand.
All right, Tim, with that, let's go to that broadcast right now. All right, walk me through it, sir.
Okay, so old boy stands up right there. So girl's kind of getting in his face, and then he takes a whack and knocks homeboy down. And now he's trying to get up, and he decides he's gonna punch from the low ground. And Blood comes in. He's defending Crip, and he's throwing bombs. He's got the Rangers hat on. He gets his hat knocked off, but he knocks dude. It looked like he sat him on the toilet, and he's like, I guess I don't got to poop. And now the girl's kind of like getting in his face, pushing him back, doing her thing a little bit. Boyfriend's being smart. He's like, I need a 1-row buffer. And then this homeboy comes up from the side, and he's just trying to chill everyone out. He's like, no. And then at some point, the girl gets involved again and gets cracked and knocked back, and then gets applauded. The effort gets applauded by homeboy here. I think they're going through a fast motion. I can't. It's a little choppy on my end watching it, so I can't tell. But good production, though. I do like that they show that this was a cut timeout. Yeah. And then it popped off.
What just happened there?
Yeah, I gotta pull this up on my end and watch it.
Tim, somebody just somersaulted their way down those steps.
Oh yeah, dude got cracked real hard at the end and just like did a full on flyby. That was like a Blue Angel flyby, but like the bleacher version of it.
Oh,
I don't even think that guy was fighting. I think he was just like walking. Wow. Yeah. Oh, that was the girl. Holy cow. Yeah, she got launched 3 rows.
All right.
That was a 3-row launch. That's more than getting couched at the PTF.
Let me give you my interpretation of things happen here. Let's start with the obvious. This dude is wearing an appropriate jersey because he's about to be judged, juried, and executioned here. But nonetheless, we're going to start off with this. He knocks the soda out of that dude's hand. Do you know how much shit costs in this day and age? You knocked out my soda. Unfortunately, we are fighting. I paid $20 for that, sir. Guess what? He gets clocked and rocked. Now, I feel bad for this woman here who's like propping him up and goes, hey. Oh, that's a dude. Sorry.
That's your mother-in-law right there. She's just like,
no,
what?
That's the dude. So that's a dude who's now putting his hand up. I actually think it's Kevin James, if I'm being honest. Now, mind you, one of the Usos has the backwards hat with the red shirt here. And he's feeling feisty. He's getting into a low stance. And this is where you feel what was the giveaway that day, because he's hitting him with whatever the giveaway
rally
was.
bat, like a foam rally bat or something. It's like he's gonna commit murder, but he's got a foam dongle.
It's the silliest thing to ever see. I'm with her. Her reaction is actually perfect. I want to see just her reaction here because look, when he comes and raises holy hell, the look on her face is, oh my God.
He's crazy.
All right. So he chases after him down 2 or 3 rows. They exchange hands. The girl kicks him, and I didn't even notice that the first time. She brings in like a Sonya Blade sort of sidekick here. Look at this. And at some point, she's using it to block him out. Like, no, you don't get to go down there. So props to her. And then it says, she's basically holding off. She gets pushed and then like swats him. Like, you should know better, dude. And she's even saying like, come on, guys. Let's all get a little more calm here. Now, this is what I want to bring up. As she's calming him, he's still hitting them. It's a great 1-2. Babe, you calm him down. I'm still going to hit him, okay? But this is what I love. This is the part that I think is my favorite aspect of this whole fight. So, homeboy in the red shirt is stuck. While this fight was going on, and I don't know if you noticed this, look at his leg. It's stuck in that position. So when he was throwing hands at this dude, he was stuck in the chair. So he couldn't move. So he couldn't even shift balance. Because look, he's still stuck in that chair where it folds.
Stadium quicksand.
He's just like, oh, fuck. So you really can't load up your 1-2 off of that with just one balanced leg there. Now, at this point, the dude from Speed who has a boat decides to come out and break up everything. And he's just telling everybody, listen, everybody chill. Grabbing a girl like that, you know, I don't even know if she was the biggest problem. If I'm guessing, she's not landing the biggest punches. And who is... It's still so funny. When you see somebody dart off to the side, that can't be her, right? No, thank you, Willafano 8. Yes, the high ground is an important aspect to go off of when it comes to fights. Props to this person. I want to see the footage over here from the bottom left. But then let's go back to this. He's holding her. Homegirl's like, what? And she gets pushed down. Yep. I think it's her. Okay, I didn't know for sure if it was her. It's because she went back in their faces and was trying a victory lap. Like, okay, what? You know, that like meme that says, what are you going to do? Stab me? - person that got stabbed. This is kind of that, where she's like, what are you going to do? Push me? # person that got pushed. And then she falls. Yeah, she has CTE for sure. Now, granted, this dude, I don't know if you saw this come back over this way, Tim. Dude in the blue Yankees hat. Right here to the edge, right-hand edge. Okay?
Right.
He sees his girl. She comes over and he's like, nope.
Oh, yeah. He's like,
babe, we're going home. Now, I guess there's a lot to go over here. And I don't know this particular dude's situation. But why are you clapping this excitedly when a girl basically just ran down those stairs like that? Like, that girl felt like she was in the soap opera Dynasty. Did you ever see that? Whenever they had a staircase, somebody always fell down the staircase. That's exactly what happened there. So, Tim, what an immaculate fight of the week this week for us. Do you have anything that you would like to say to the people as we sign off here today, sir?
Yeah, man. Great to be here once again, my friend RAF ESPARZA. Recently got a little more active on Kick, so check me out on Kick, Inside BJ Day. I'm just gonna like stream out to all the platforms. I got to get my TikTok going, but I'm getting all set up. I know you don't. Said it before.
No, you don't. You don't got to do that. Apparently, dude, you know what you do have to do, Tim. This is how little Tim has been on TikTok. He has just barely followed me.
I know. I'm sorry.
Today.
I saw that, dude. And I don't mean that in any kind of way, dude. I literally never log into TikTok, but I'm going to start doing it from now on. Because if you come for RAF, then you're coming for me, and then we got to go together, man. So that's how that works. So thank you for waking me up. Outside of that, if you're out in Nashville, come see me at 10th Planet Nashville. And if you're out in Stockton, go see my boys at 10th Planet Stockton. RAF, great show today. My favorite part of the fight is when boyfriend guy gets punched and he just does like the sit down on the toilet, and then he like has that realization there's no toilet paper, and he's like, whoop, right back up again. Got to go get toilet paper. Whoop, whoop. Good stuff though, man. Great to see you, Raf.
Likewise, Tim. It was a blast talking with you today.
How dare you?
There's no how dare I. You had yours on the whole time. You know, the only reason I didn't have mine on is for the following. When I went on my rant at the top of the show, the last thing you need is for someone to grab something out of context that then they can latch onto. Because the last thing I need is for somebody to be like, fuck that Dodger fan. And now, new follower, Tim Freeman, might jump in and be like, yeah, get him. And it'd be like, Tim, you're on my side on this argument. And then you'd be like, there are no sides in interviews and arguments, Raf. What? I'm with this dude, Tear Jerk 93, and what looks like a Confederate flag in the back. Yikes. All right. Well, that dude, he makes some sound points when it comes to whatever you talked about on the show. So we'll see if any of these other things we talked about catch fire. I am curious to see who comes back to find out what we said. And guess what? Maybe we didn't have anybody come back from that, but we did go up a few amount of folks who follow us now, and we did get some funny DMs. So we appreciate people for having a good sense of humor about it. All right, Tim, I'm going to let you get on out of here, sir. Please enjoy the rest of your weekend. Give my best to the family, and I will see you back here next week. I believe we're going next Thursday, so not a Friday show, next Thursday, everybody. So keep an eye out for that. Tim, I will talk to you later, sir. All right, ladies and gents, that's going to do it for us here at the Bullpen. We hope you enjoyed this installment. If you enjoyed it, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe wherever you're watching. Check us out at the Bullpen every Friday, except for next Thursday. We're doing a show on Thursday. And be sure to send us comments. And if you haven't joined the Grappling Hour Patreon, that's patreon.com/grappling hour. Go do that right now. There is a free newsletter where sometimes you'll get some goodies. You'll get to see what I'm up to. You'll get to hear about our guests and their relative successes outside of our world. So you definitely want to keep up with that. But do that by going to patreon.com/grappling hour. Ladies and gents, that's going to do it for us here at the Bullpen. My thanks to you guys for watching along. This was a fun one. I hope that you guys have a great weekend, and good luck to everybody fighting this weekend. But for now, that's going to do it for us here at the show. It's been a great day for grappling. We'll see you back on the mats. Go Dodgers. They beat the Giants. Tim can't do anything about it. Peace.